our course in microeconomics by understanding what economics is about. Remember, that was to do with the fundamental economic problem, where human beings are assumed to have unlimited needs and wants, but there are only a finite amount of resources to satisfy these needs and wants. That led us to acknowledge that economists make assumptions about human behavior in order to create models and conduct experiments to prove the claims that they make based on these models of humans that they create. This is known as the economic methodology. The problem of scarcity entails choices having to be made. Those three choices are what to produce, how to produce, and how to share out production. We then said that the purpose of economic activity is to produce goods and services to meet these needs and wants. However, economic resources or factors of production are scarce and therefore have opportunity costs when being used to produce goods and services. The concept of opportunity costs can be illustrated in PPF diagrams. In topic 2, we will learn about how free markets work in order for us to decide what to produce, how to produce, and how to share it out. Let's get it. How do we decide how to allocate resources? In other words, how do we decide what to produce from the limited resources available? How much to produce of a good or service? How do we share out what we produce? In command economies, for example in North Korea, the central government will decide the answers to these questions. In free market economies, producers and consumers come together in a market in order to determine the price of a good or service, which will act as a signal of what should be produced and also how to share out production. Then you have mixed economies where both free markets and the government work together to allocate resources. Whether a nation chooses to use one system or another is a matter of politics. Capitalism, or right-wing economics, is based around the idea that producers and consumers should be free to own the factors of production and do as they please with little government intervention. The downside to this is that some businesses and the individuals who control those businesses can become really rich and powerful, and this can create inequality and exploitation as businesses seek more and more profits. On the other extreme, we have communism, which suggests that the factors of production belong to everyone or the state, and resources should be allocated by the state or the government. This will mean there will be less inequality, but the downside to this is that without the opportunity to make profits and get rich, people will have no reason to innovate and start new businesses. If you want to learn more about these different political ideologies, click in the links in the description. A free market is a place where buyers and sellers come together to determine the price of a good or a service. Prices set by markets help us decide what to produce, how to produce, and how to share out production. Let's learn how free markets work to allocate resources. A market could either be physical, like your local shopping center, or virtual, like Amazon. So markets are made up of buyers and sellers. Let's start off by understanding the buyer's side of the market by looking at demand.
Bye, Felicia.